Hello. Our special guest now needs no introduction. You can see him bending into camera there. David Essex, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everybody.
How are you this morning? Oh, can you say a special hello? We've got a lady who wrote in and said she's not going to forgive us if you don't say a special hello to her. She's called Anne Millington of Fern Crescent, Congleton in Cheshire. And she says, please make a working mum very happy. If David Essex ever appears live on TVM, give him my love and ask him to give me a wave and mention my name. He's fantastic. All right, so it was her, Anne Millington.
Anne Millington.
Morning, Anne.
Once more with feeling.
Morning, Anne.
That's smashing. You've made somebody very happy. Anyway, how are you this morning?
I don't know. I think I'm all right. I don't know how you do this. I suppose everybody says it when they come on, but it's a bit early, isn't
Well,
it?
some people just definitely aren't early morning people, but you seem to be sparkling.
Well, I'm trying to.
We're going to be playing later on, just for everybody who's watching it and wondering why, we're going to be playing Tahiti a bit later on. But I wanted to talk all about Mutiny on the Bounty. The album has just come out.
Yes.
3 days out, and it's in the top 40.
Yes, I'm very pleased about that. It was an afterthought because it's something I wanted to do for quite a long time, to marry music and theatre, having worked in both. And I met with a man called Richard Crane, who used to be the resident dramatist for the National Theatre. And we talked about subject matter, and for me we needed to find a big subject to hang music onto, because it's such an odd thing to burst into song out of nowhere, you know. So we met down at Brighton with the sea crashing on the stones, and we started to talk about things, and we came up with the mutiny that happened on the Bounty. And I must say I wasn't all that thrilled at the beginning, and then I started to read loads of books, and it seemed evident to me that there were more things in the story than I had seen in the two films, you know, the Charles Lawton film and the Marlon Brando film. It really wasn't as black and white as those two films made out as Bligh, the Black Tyrant, and Fletcher Christian, the kind of romantic idealist. There were lots of undercurrents.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, Fletcher Christian, whose part you're playing, really, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
That's what part you're playing in Tahiti.
Yes.
Incredibly romantic character. It suits you right down to the ground, if I may say so. But I mean, is he really not that good?
Well, I think he was a modern man for that period, and a man who believed in equality, and a romantic. But I think that the big thing is that Bligh wasn't the blackguard, that's made out, and was a great sailor, great navigator. And the show is about their relationship. Because they got on really well on the way to Tahiti. I mean, they were great friends, and the boat was working very well, because Christian seems to have been very much the man's man, He was able to motivate the crew, where Bligh didn't really quite have that charismatic quality with the men. He was much more a man who believed in discipline and authority. I mean, what's great for the show is that Captain Cook, Bligh sailed with Cook, but Captain Cook and Bligh ordered every day for 4 hours compulsory dancing for the crew to keep them fit.
Really?
They'd have to jig about for 4 hours.
Is that one of those little facts you read about?
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Because that didn't come out in the Marlon Brando film at all.
No, it didn't. But I mean, we'll hopefully have a terrific dance number to that, which is totally credible because it happened.
But it'll be very much a sort of all-male cast at that point, at least on the boat, won't it?
Yes,
Until
it
you get
will.
to Tahiti, and then
Yes.
I imagine you'll go mad.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that was, one of the keys of the mutiny, which happened, I think, in a very instantaneous way. It wasn't thought out. It seemed that Fletcher Christian was going to jump ship alone, and some of the crew members said, well, you can't go unless we come, and it just happened. It wasn't really, a planned mutiny. I think one of the obvious reasons was that incredible culture shock when they got to Tahiti, after spending so much time in close and claustrophobic conditions, with very bad rations and intense discipline. All of a sudden to land in paradise,
Yes.
with wanton women and fruit hanging off the trees, and well, you wouldn't want to
Your
leave,
eyes
would
are
you?
twinkling, David.
Yeah, I'm waking up.
Right, well, we're going to move on for a minute, but we're going to be looking at Tahiti, as I said, in a few moments'
good.
time, so stay with us.
All right.
Right, it's 7:45. Now, you may think that in a court of law, fact... David, coming up is the video of Tahiti. That, to me, listening to the album of the whole thing, really stands out on its own in the first place. Did you see it like that, or did you sit down and say this is going to be the particularly commercial one, or what?
I think that, see, most of the music I wrote, I wanted to base more or less in that period, in the sort of 1790-ish period, and there was a lot of Baroque around at that time, so it's generally influenced by that. And then, of course, when you get to Tahiti, nobody really quite knows what Tahitian music is. I went there and listened to their rhythm patterns and all the rest of it. So you can bend things a little, which I think probably gives a more general appeal. So with Tahiti, no, I never saw it as a more commercial song than the others. I mean, I think there are a couple of songs in the show that do have general appeal like Tahiti, but the great thing about the Tahitian aspect of it is that you can add rhythm.
Yes.
You know, whereas the rhythm comes from cello and violins in Baroque. You know, it's got that pulse.
And you're also
to it.
singing in Tahitian in this, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. It was quite funny because when Richard Crane really compiled the Tahitian, because Richard did the book, he wrote the book, so he did the lyrics. And I know when he first went there, he had, you know, things like, I've left my suitcase in the airport, and all this in Tahitian.
Is that what you're singing?
No, I'm singing.
Sure?
No, I'm singing real things
Should
about
we
love.
see it now? The old video, Tahiti,
right.
from Mutiny on the Bounty. Here it comes. The man himself. That is wonderful. Really like it.
It really
actually.
is lovely, isn't it?
And we've got to
Reminds me
go.
of my holiday.
The thing is, we've got to go from Tahiti now to Blackpool. So let's get up to the northwest now for the latest news from the Tory Party conference, and we join John Stapleton, and with him now his guest, the Home Secretary.
Until the end of the programme, but let me tell you for the moment what's coming up before 8 o'clock, or rather after 8 o'clock. We'll be finding out whose future lies in the sealed envelopes. And we've been investigating whose past lies deep in a Welsh cave. Then after that, it's competition time with David and an egg cup. First, let's get a news update from Gavin Scott.
Good morning. A Conservative MP who says Cecil Parkinson should be forced to resign has been rebuked for his outspoken criticism of the Trade Secretary.